Abstract, that which cannot be touched by the sheep, those who need something tangible, will fail here. It is the land of the spirit alone, and those who can face this coldness are the masters of this new land. In a world with too many people, and daily increasing frustrations and interpersonal agonies, we can forgive a few mass killings, a few open graves, and even, perhaps, vicariously participate, enjoying the release of our own stultified, impotent emotion in a world that will never recognize its value. Here is cries from a restless soul. Dead are we, dead are our futures, our souls wander this wasteland, unfulfilled. Let the emptiness be our mantra, let the future be our scorn, and the past our symbol. We return to ancient, regressive, reaching for eternity with immortal, in the cold, post-death void, where no warmth, intelligence, or organism functions. In order to get closer to the soul, we may have to get farther from it. Thus, as our society journeys into dystopia, we embrace the coming darkness and obscurity as a sign that soon we shall reconstruct. However, in our sheep-like wisdom, we have clustered together, and as such, we can never see ourselves standing alone, never see the image of human replicated everywhere, and do not understand the math. To help you through this mathematical development, the numerical progression of life as it goes from birth to death, from inception to evolution. The dark aura of silence descends around the world you have known. Suddenly all things familiar and faithful have peeled away. Your mind's eyeball lies uncovered, probed by a darkness it cannot comprehend. In your chilling spectacle you are light by the reflection of the moon, your pallor indicative of your disease, your eyes fixated on the throbbing veins, present against a negative world pulsing outward from your skin. You find your machine inadequate, you find your brain afraid. You're in the darkness, the cold has immersed you. There is no way to recall a time before this was true. You are suddenly, very suddenly, far too real in a reality you cannot swallow. Welcome to the dilemma after the end of the world. We are the children of a previous age, and born after death, shell-shocked, we stagger, wanderers of a land of waste, a land of nothingness, unforgiven by its own people for its wastefulness, pettiness. Worthless it scours itself. In displeasure it sinks. Around us a depression, like a malaise, laying waste to city blocks of productivity and virtue. Demons are our spirits now. The angels of light are corrupted. The serpents in the dark await the word of a dying world. Sinister they surround it, liquid they infiltrate it. They breathe its air, they breathe its toxins. They cleanse its ground with sacraments of power, with ordination of fire. The new inhabitants, they have been said to reprogram its virus, to turn its adept destruction from a grinding nothingness of perpetuation into the swift pulse and bitter strike of winter. Insistence of death is their guiding principle. Their cold stills the cells of that which is unaware that it lives. It is the statement issued to the stars by the desperate and frightened, the desperate and hopelessly angry, hopelessly thrust outward from the society which has raised them as loyal, dependent, greedy, and needful members. This is a virtual broadcast which you can hear at any time, living or dead, light or dark, festive joyful or sorrow. It is for resonance of your spirit. It is the curse of death-like skin upon the living must be discussed in its poetic abstract. In the sense as it is in black and white carved, it must be in gray written. This is Dark Throne, with the dance of eternal shadows. For the modern mind, unfed by the path of society, it churns onward for new targets to consume, new heights to reach, new expanses to develop, without the greed, the consumptive, commoditized greed of an overgrown fat cell. The end is imminent. That is to say, it has always been here. Harsh curses of eternity to destroy the things we have built up to stand between us and our lives. In the twilight, as the forest becomes dark, the forces of Satan rise from the ground. They are eternal. Their action is as inexorable as the return of a wave or the death after life. Death is imminent. It is within. They bring forth the forces of death. They bring the cold to the stirring life in the town. Those who are awake learn to fear death, and that is their first mistake. For death is the thing they must know in order to achieve life. Cowards, weaklings, liars, but no more so than those today who hide themselves in the intentionality of subservience or bow forever to their own avoidance. Our curse for all of you, the war, that is, against all things that stand good, holy, pure, and righteous. For that we must play out this stage. We must let the fires commence. We are the apocalypse, reminding you to shed your skin like a soul and to walk above the parameters of your existence, but the tortured part of your soul which won't let go of your hope for your life. However, nihilism soon overtakes your limbs. Some form of Novocaine. Drowsy you drop, forgetting your place. We have overtaken your soul. Don't look for scapegoats, but look to the beast. At the bottom of the abyss, there is an inversion to a new kind of height. Look toward your nihilism. Your generation, after all, is given context in history. We're going to give you some context in pain, starting with some American classics. This is stuff. All of this stuff is well, and all of this stuff is good. But it's time to make it even darker, to bring it closer to the unholy one, the pit at the vortex of all despair. And for that purpose, none will suffice but deicide. And we will fill this world with blasphemy. Here we bring you blasphemy to take home and make fecund with your hatefulness. Spread it in your discontent and to exterminate. But remember, your inner hate is an important serpent to nourish. If you're feeling uncomfortable, settle down into your soul. It's the only one you'll ever get. Fresh with the horror of life. Those of you who are too unrelenting to turn from the truth, and yet too soulfully needful to deny it. Yes, you want death. You want death in your mind so your spirit can walk free while you are still alive. The best of two worlds in the best of a brain. We are only wandering minds put into flesh to walk this earth. Our heads truly do the flying. As if we didn't know from our consummate drug addiction or our consummate unreality addiction. That is the case. And thus we struggle in frustration. We burn in our torment, trying to break free. Jump out of your head. Jump out of your life. Set yourself free and continue to live. This is a planet for species of free. DJ Satanic Christ Sodomy here with a message of unhope. This is a planet for species of free will walking together in apocalyptic angst. An hour of brutality whenever you want it, whenever your life peaks out over your indicators and you find yourself caught up in a digitalia of mayhem, pain and accesses of helpless need. Sink to the ground, O creature, for you are mortal, like the rest of us. Flesh and dust, the two recombine. Death is some justice of the freedom we have during life. Most are unwilling to shoulder that burden, for such they see it, and as such they will deal with it. But the power of life, like a river,